fresh off a win. Tiger manager AJ Hinch joining us this morning. AJ, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good. Was it a bit of a relief last night?
A little bit of an exhale, just because this has been such a brutal week. I know the frustration coming out of Pittsburgh when the game flipped on us, and then Kansas City, obviously getting swept and coming home. I mean, it's, you come home and you look at the daunting task of facing the Rays and the Dodgers, and I know how bleak it can look. It's nice to put together a game and chance to win a series. We've won 4 out of 5 games against these Rays, and I think I have to remind my team sometimes that, this is not an impossible task, but it's certainly an uphill battle for us right now, and the win was nice.
Well, along those lines, do you guys, you mentioned it's an uphill battle. Do you guys talk about a number of what it would actually take to make it into the postseason? And as a follow-up, do you think this is a year where we've never seen a team in a 162-game season get in with a sub-500 record, whether it's you guys or someone else? Do you think that happens this year?
Yeah. So the first question is, we don't really openly talk about a win total, with the exception that I've been very consistent with saying, hey, we need to get to 500. We need to get to 500. We need to get to 500. We came really close. We had the White Sox series. That wasn't a great series. And so we kind of fell behind. So you climb, and then fall down. And so that part of it, I think, before you can really talk about sort of bigger things, that 500 mark was what we were searching for the better, for 3 months. However long it's been. And so I think that's been the one topic. As far as the overall record goes, it's a win total exercise against your opponents. So I don't know, and I still don't really think that the sub 500 team makes it, but I don't think it matters either. I think everybody goes to 0-0. So whatever it takes to get in, I think the broader question of historical things and, oh my gosh, somebody's around 500 or below, it's not as if it's going to be praised to be at 500 and make the playoffs like that. The playoff part is the record we seem to always throw shade at, but it's part of how this year has gone, and one of the most ridiculous years, I'm sure, for you guys to cover and us to go through in the league. When the dust settles and the playoff teams are established, I still believe the American League, the teams even around 500, they're pretty hard to beat. Seattle's pretty hard to beat. They're 5 games under 500. Whether it's the Astros or whether it's the White Sox, whether it's us, you're going to see some things in October, regardless of who it is, surprise people based on seasonal records, because those won't matter when you get into a short series.
John's patting himself on the back because he's been saying 500, so got to get to 500, get to 500. You mentioned that this latest stretch, you guys have faded. What has happened in the back half of this month in your eyes?
Probably a combination of things. I know, I talk a lot about the aspects of the game. I was talking about this yesterday with the media. You have these different areas of baseball, which is a unique sport. It's a marathon. We play every day. It's, and you guys talk every day about this team, and there's sometimes you talk about the offense, sometimes it's the defense, sometimes it's pitching, sometimes it's the bullpen, sometimes it's the rotation. You got to get all that synchronized up to playing really well. And for stretches during this season, I think every part of our game has been at its peak, and every part of that game has been sort of bottom barrel, and we have not been great. So when you have a couple of those areas, fade or struggle, or you can't get to the finish line and a game flips, or you lose a big presence in Riley Green and the middle of the order, albeit some young guys coming up and contributing, just doesn't create the same stress on the other manager to make decisions like that. That is all culminated in, not enough winning plays, and you find yourself losing close enough games to be super frustrated about it, because it's not as if you're getting blown out or you're getting embarrassed or you're getting, you're throwing games away. You're just not doing enough to win. And that at this time of year feels like it costs you times 2. It's not just a loss like we talk about in April or May or June. These August and into September games, although they only count as one, emotionally make you feel, as if they're multiplied.
Max Clark had a home run yesterday, and I'm curious how we've talked about Kevin McGonigal a lot, and I do have a question about him, but Max Clark, how have you seen him since he's been up make adjustments and maybe learn from a guy like Kevin McGonigal or some of the other young guys that are there? How are you seeing him make those adjustments?
Yeah, no, but let's please not compare every young player to Kevin McGonigal.
Yeah, it's not fair.
I mean, Kevin McGonigal has been some kind of special for at this level, at his age and experience level, and you're right, Max can learn a lot from Kevin, and a lot of it can be, sort of that maintaining that edge without sort of losing his mind when things don't go his way. Like Max is an emotional player. He has learned a lot. I think he got off to a great start in Sacramento, and he just found it like it's a tough level. Some of the balls he's hit that haven't been hits have tamped down his numbers. I think his defense, albeit yesterday he had the one little mistake, has been very, very impressive. Getting off the ball, getting the balls quickly, running balls down in the gap. Like you see what's to love about Max Clark. And then last night the homer was very important for us to flip the game and get back our momentum a little bit to separate from them and win yesterday's game. So Max Clark can bring a skill set every single day to the ballpark to help you win, and it doesn't always have to be one area of his game. And those subtle adjustments, he needs his first 100 bats. I want to wake up on the other side of these first 100 at bats, and we're going to see a player emerging and growing like we have a lot of young players.
You mentioned Kevin McGonigal is some kind of special. Can you describe or put it into words how unique it is what Kevin McGonigal is doing as a rookie?
Oh, man. I mean, the numbers on the scoreboard don't really do him justice, and the numbers on the scoreboard are probably going to get him an award on the mantle. I mean, he's obviously holding his own, like, performance-wise. Like, there's the numbers, the bat quality, the walks and strikeouts, the homers, the doubles, but the quality of this kid's play, I'm moving him around between short and third. It doesn't really faze him. He's hit first, he's hit third, he's hit second. Like, it doesn't really faze him. He's as prepared a hitter as any hitter I can remember at this age in my career for sure. But even calling games, like he goes up to the plate with a purpose, and even his like outs feel like he's in control of his at bats. And I know it's hard to describe. It's probably hard to talk about every day because like this game, it's 4 more at bats and 4 more at bats and 4 more at bats. But the quality of his preparedness and then execution of a plan, has been very elite, and we're scratching the surface, I think, on his want to and how badly he wants to win and how badly he wants to anchor this team, and he's doing it at 21, now 22.
We're talking to Tiger manager AJ Hinch. You worked with Valdez in Houston, so I'm just curious if you can explain what's gone wrong. We're looking at the highest ERA for him in a full season as a starter, WHIP, strikeouts per 9, the lowest for him. At the other day, the stat I didn't even believe, he didn't get a whiff in his last start. So where we sit, it feels like a disappointing signing. Why has it gone this way?
Well, he hasn't performed, obviously, and it's been maddening. I mean, the first inning for a lot of this year has just been really puzzling. Like whether his sight line is up and it's mid-thigh instead of the bottom of the zone, the usage, we're looking into all sorts of different things. He's got some batted ball luck, but it's not luck. It's been pure execution for him because this stuff is still really, really good. And I still feel very good when he goes out on the mound. And then there's an implosion, even like Pittsburgh, like this last road trip. It's hard in baseball because the end line usually indicates how you did that night, right? And he was really good. And then all of a sudden the 6th inning goes, our bullpen was a little bit depleted. He's going to go a little bit further, and it's not just like a run or two. It was like an implosion inning, and I got to go get him. So he has not controlled damage on the ground near as well as he has. And I don't think it's a stuff issue. It's not a work issue. He's working. He cares. I think even though he's a little bit reserved maybe with the media or even with the fans, he is grinding, trying to figure it out. And we need him back. I mean, he's obviously coming back next year to prove something. I don't want to concede the rest of his starts because he looks up, he's got the Dodgers on Sunday. And that inning he had the other day where he pitched his way out of a jam isn't always going to be executed that way against every team. And obviously we're trying to figure it out.
Friday's not just another game, right?
No, doesn't feel like it, does it?
What are the
You were
emotions
done
like?
with these questions, didn't you?
This is the first Scooble question I've gotten this week. So congrats. Nice work.
Well, good. Well, we'll be the first. I'm sure you'll get more. But what is that going to be like? Like he was your guy. He was there for so many big games, and now he's pitching against you.
So we've got to separate two things. I mean, obviously, there's going to be sort of the awkward weirdness of having him go to the other bullpen. I'm sure, the fans and the organization will hat tip him in some way. And then you got to separate that with the player out there throwing, pellets to the plate. And we know how he's going to pitch, and we know when he's good, we know what he struggles with. And so you separate the player and the person. But, I think, I shouldn't probably even say this, but if he was going to get traded, I was kind of rooting for off the schedule and not deal with this until next year or whatever happens with his career, because I do think there's this pit in your stomach that comes with seeing your old players. Like, we haven't done that the last couple of years. If it has been, it's been a DFA, or it's been, somebody that has been replaced, not a trade like this. So like KC being in obviously we saw Jake, which was weird enough as it is, but Derek's tough to face, and it's tougher to face him in the same year in which he wore your uniform.
How will you remember the Scooble era as we look back on it now that he's turning the page?
Well, can I wait to see how he pitches against us on Friday?
We'll lead with that one next time.
That's more than fair.
I mean, I first off, I love this guy, and I am close to this guy, and in time, the sting of losing him and sort of all we went through around the deadline will ease. But, I will always have crazy respect for Tarek and how he helped build where we're at now, where expectations are high, standards are super high. We expect some of the most important games that I've managed for the Tigers over the last few years have involved Tarek. And so nothing but respect for him.
Who's pitching opposite? Because I heard or read that Montero's now Saturday. Who's Friday starter?
Drew Anderson will start on, and then Andrew Sears will pitch. One of those two games as well. I'll end up using both guys. Cater will pitch on Saturday. He throws a bullpen today and is doing really well. So Sears will be in the pen for the Dodger series.
And if I could get you for one more question, because I know we're running late here, but you mentioned talking about this team every day and kind of the ups and downs. What's your message? We talk to fans for the final 30 games of the season. Like, we're going, hey, there's a couple young players to watch. I don't know if they're going to get back in this or not. What would your message be to fans about the final 30 games?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're not really built to concede anything yet. We need to go on an incredibly good run to make this interesting. Now, we've done it before, and I think our fans, I know we've taken them on a crazy ride this season, and there's been some highs, there's been some lows, and we just want our fans to hang in there with us. We are grinding and working to be better. Obviously there are some things to accomplish either way. It's either accomplishing it on your way to making it interesting and making a run, or you're accomplishing something, trying to gain some experience with some young guys and some return. You're going to see the return of Riley Green, and hopefully other guys get healthy. But I don't want our fans to check out because of the daunting look at what this season can be. I understand the frustration that has centered around our team for the majority of the season based on the hot cold nature of this club. But we're trying to represent this city well. We're trying to continue to take steps forward towards success, and hang in there with us, because I know it's been sort of mentally and physically exhausting.
Maybe get us a Verlander start before the end of the year too?
I hope so. I mean, he's working his tail off. He threw off the mound the last couple of days. That obviously would be something to look forward to for him, and what an incredible career that I think is, probably hasn't been talked about a ton this year because he hasn't been active. But we're obviously going to treat him right on the way into retirement, and I don't know when or where or what. I mean, obviously home would be the goal. We're not going to drop a start on the road. It's his last start. So
okay. Tiger manager AJ Hinch.
Thanks, AJ.
You got it. Take care.
It's 97.1.